Ladies and gentlemen, I stream 4 times a week on Twitch. Give it a follow, link in the description. Thank you. Season of the Haunted is finally upon us, and with it, just like all seasons, comes a slew of new weapons for us to try out and grind. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the new Haunted weapon set, specifically going over how to farm them, what their god rolls are, and ranking them best to worst as to not waste your time. I stayed up all night making this video. It's literally 4 AM as I write this script, so if you could leave a like on the video, I would greatly appreciate it, and if you're not already subscribed, definitely do so as I got tons more PvE focused videos on the way. Without further ado, let's jump into this. Now, starting off today's video, what good are haunted weapons if you don't know how to actually farm them out? So let's go over that real quick. Currently, as of making this video, the best way to farm these weapons is to just brute force your way through Nightmare Containment on the Leviathan and hope you get what you want at the end of the tier 3 boss chest. Later down the line though, we'll unlock Umbral Focusing at the helm after upgrading the Crown of Sorrow enough, so I wouldn't sweat going crazy on the farming just yet. If you do want to farm to your heart's content though, feel free to brute force the Nightmare Containment as long as you have the seasonal currency on hand, which remember you can get bonus of by wearing the seasonal armor, and you'll also on occasion get additional bound presents from the final chest, which you should have already gotten one of before you did the story mission for the first time, which you can then use to rerun the Sever mission for more goodies at the end chest. So do keep in mind that all of these weapons are craftable also, so make sure to complete any resonant drops that you get, because if you complete 5 of them, you'll unlock the pattern for crafting at the Enclave. So basically, don't sweat it if you're not getting the god roll, as you'll always be able to craft an even better one later down the line anyways. With all that out of the way, let's get into these weapons one by one and talk about their perks and what makes them so good. Starting off the weapon portion of the video, the first gun I want to talk about today is the lightweight frame pellet shotgun without remorse. And yeah, I know what you're thinking, Joey, why are you putting a pellet shotty front and center in your new video? Well, honestly, because this is the first pellet shotgun that's truly caught my attention in a very long time. What makes it so special stems from it being solar, as with Solar 3.0 now in the game, most if not all solar weapons from here on out look to be rolling with the incandescent perk. What is that perk, you may ask? Well, essentially it's a better version of Firefly that can synergize with your Solar 3.0 subclass and inflict not only mass explosions on any kill you get, doesn't even need to be a headshot, but also to apply burn to the targets nearby for even more damage. I absolutely love this perk, and it gives weapons like pellet shotguns a role in the sandbox that isn't 1-2 punch. It makes me think of reservoir bursts with fusion rifles, and I'm 100% for it. This is a super fun way to add clear, and I recommend a role like field prep to pair with this, or even stats for all, as incandescent can even proc that perk to assist in your reload speed. Big thanks to Nemo for getting this gameplay that you guys see in the background. Dude literally got like a 5 out of 5 on the shotgun, and I don't even have it for myself. So either way, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on this bad boy soon enough, and even speccing it out with some enhanced perks later down the line. Up next from Without Remorse, we have a weapon that I was pleasantly surprised with, and that is the Hollow Denial Trace Rifle. Not only does this trace rifle come in with some great perks, but it also rocks Void Element, which we already know is a recipe for destruction with volatile rounds, which, just a reminder, all you gotta do is throw a grenade and get a kill with it to proc now that the whole elemental well thing is gone. Now, taking a look at the perks, in the first column we have Lead from Gold, as well as finally Adapted Munitions. We don't see this often in the first column, so this makes Hollow Denial the third weapon to allow you to both roll this perk and a damage perk simultaneously. Anyways, in the final column we have Dragonfly, Swashbuckler, as well as Killing Tally, which I believe we haven't seen since the 21% Delirium, if I recall correctly. This perk is essentially Rampage if the timer didn't exist, and it resets after every reload. So Adaptive and Tally is probably the role I'm gonna go for here, and with the recent Trace Rifle buff, I'm super excited to give this god roll a try very soon. Moving on from the Trace Rifle, we have yet another weird weapon for me to actually be excited about, and that is the NEZAREC'S Whisper, which is a glaive of all things. This art glaive surprises me in 2 different departments. Firstly, this has less to do with the weapon itself, but the glaive buff actually feels pretty damn nice, I won't lie. The regular melee damage of the glaive feels much better than last season, and the projectile definitely feels much quicker and snappier whenever I fire it. Secondly, the perk pool in this weapon is just magnificent. You guys know I absolutely simp for Demolitionist in the first column, and when you look at that, it rolls Demo in the first column. It also has Lead from Gold and Impulse if those are more your fancy. In the second column, we have Adrenaline Junkie to synergize with Demo, as well as Frenzy and Vorpal. I was super lucky to bag myself a Demo and Vorpal roll of this weapon, and it kind of gives me a taste of how much I'm going to enjoy crafting a 5 out of 5 in the future. I was expecting to hate this weapon, obviously, because, you know, it's the pointy stick archetype, but I've genuinely enjoyed my time with it, and I highly recommend giving it a try, especially if you haven't tried any glaives as of yet in the new season. Finally, moving on from a pellet shotgun, a trace rifle, and glaive, we have ourselves a fairly normal weapon type that I'm always a fan of, a scout rifle. Here we have a 180 RPM kinetic that's known as the Tears of Contrition. Essentially, the best way I describe this weapon is that this gun is basically a 𝗙𝗔𝗟 that you can craft with enhanced perks for people that never really got the old 𝗙𝗔𝗟 from times past. While it doesn't have the fun subsistence and firefly roll that 𝗙𝗔𝗟 had, it has a pretty similar god roll to 𝗙𝗔𝗟's in-game roll. While that scout was rocking Rapid and Explosive, Contrition is going to be rolling with Triple Tap Explosive, as well as Vorpal if you'd like that instead. It also has the 𝗍𝗔's Embrace roll of Triple Tap and 4th times if you're feeling like a meme king or queen. I have this weapon so low on the list not really because it's bad, because it'll honestly do great in high-end content with Triple Tap Explosive, but mainly because it really just isn't all that eventful on what it brings to the table. It's just a solid scout, and I'll probably be crafting one at some point this season, but I'm not really in a hurry to do so. Alright, now although the weapons we've talked about up until this point have been viewed in a positive light, weapons from this point on don't have that same luxury. Moving on from Contrition, we have ourselves the biggest disappointment of the season, the FIREFRIGHT. Man, I wanted this auto rifle to be really good whenever I saw it in the trailers. It's by far one of the coolest looking weapons that Bungie has ever made, but damn, is it just underwhelming. Unfortunately for FIREFRIGHT, not only is it a part of the very mediocre precision frame of autos, but it's also kinetic, meaning that it doesn't have any fun elemental synergies, and its perk pool is pretty atrocious. Taking a look at the perks, the only combos I think I could ever run on this are probably 4th times and Focus Fury, or Threat Detector and Surrounded. Osmosis is there if you'd like to change the element, but I don't think it's worth rolling as this archetype needs as much help as it can get via the mainline perks. Threat Detector and Surrounded is generally a great combo, but on a weapon with such low RPM as this, it just doesn't make sense on paper to me. Focus Fury is a cool damage perk, but not so much on primary weapons or weapons with super high magazines. So I really wanted this weapon to be good, but unfortunately, I can't really say that it is. But what do you guys think? Let me know if y'all have found any success with this thing, but for me, it's probably gonna have to go in the trash for now. Lastly for the video, we stumble upon a rocket launcher that isn't exactly the best one of the bin, and that is the Bump in the Night Stasis Rocket. The aggressive frame had potential, all things considered, when you remember that this archetype got a massive buff to its damage potential. But unfortunately, the base stats and overall perk selection just isn't there to carry this thing into meta territory. It gets perks such as Demo, Tracking, Field Prep, and Autoloading combined with either Chill Clip, Frenzy, or Vorpal, and while those perks are okay, the handling stat on this rocket definitely makes sure that you're probably not going to be using it that much. I mean, maybe you could use it if you're only using a rocket launcher and you're not swapping to anything, but at that point you might as well run Hothead because it has Clown Cartridge. Overall, this rocket just doesn't have much of a place in the sandbox right now, so I'm gonna have to place it at the bottom of the list for today's video. But what do you guys think? Overall, my first impressions of the haunted weapon set wasn't really all that great, but the more time I researched and the more time I spent with the weapons, I found myself loving over half of them, which puts this weapon set in the W category in my books. Definitely better than Season of the Lost. Let me know what you all think down in the comments down below though. What are your favorite weapons? What roles are you looking for, etc. I'm always reading my comments, so I'm curious to see what my homies are out there grinding for. Anyways guys, that's going to wrap up my first video of the new season. I really hope you all enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching until the very end. You guys don't need me to explain for the 1000th time why that's so big, but but I really appreciate the watch time, and I appreciate you for watching. I secretly love you more than the rest of the viewers. Anyways, shout out to my Patreon supporters as always, and big thanks to my tier 2s, Homebase, OnRock, Crunchwrap, Admus, Vile John, and Dylan, as well as my tier 3s, Neon, 𝘁𝗂'𝗏, Austin, and 𝗿lumia. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.